Here on Shorts to View, we talk to people that do anything related to Bahamian. And here today we're with
Dr. Ancilleno Davis.
Dr. Ancilleno Davis. All right. I met you on your Instagram page. You had a previous event that you usually did, parking.
Parking.
Yeah, parking. Yes, yes. Whatever happened to that?
So we're still going. So the
Okay.
Bahamas Pocking League, we started on Facebook, and we still have the Facebook group. There's a Facebook page, and occasionally we do events where you can come out to Four Walls Squash and Social Club. And we play parking on the court there.
Okay,
So on the squash court, and so for many people, parking is this down-home game that you play as kids.
That's
There's
correct.
not really rules,
No.
no winners, no losers.
You get pork and that's it, yo.
Right. And so we're formalizing the sport.
Okay.
Making sure that we have rules in place.
Perfect.
We have standards. We have a point system.
Okay.
And we have winners and losers. And we started with our first tournament last Christmas time.
How did that do?
It went well. So I came in second.
Okay.
I'm not the best parker in the Bahamas, but I'm up there. And Shad Fur, he came first.
Shad Fur.
Yeah.
I interviewed him. Yeah, Shad Fur. I know him. Yeah.
So he won. He
Okay.
won the game.
Okay. All right.
But it was a tournament, so we had multiple games, and people were rooting for us. And that first time, being on the court, and you have like fans of parking
Yes.
in the auditorium looking at you while they eating and drinking, and it was just a really amazing thing. And it was something straight out of like some kind of weird Bahamian fantasy movie, you know.
What made you think about starting the league, or how did it all come about? What made you?
To be honest,
that idea?
I do a lot of dad jokes and puns.
Okay.
And so I play around with words a lot.
Okay.
And you know, every summer, we're coming into summer now, the Bahamas Power and Light, BPL.
BPL, yes, that's right.
You know, we always have load shedding during the summer.
Every year. You can bet we're gonna have it.
Yeah, and so when the lights went off, I said, you know what? BPL isn't lighting us up. I could light people up better, right? And I started playing with the words of parking and stuff like that. When you get someone good,
you light them right up.
You light them up, right? And so I said I could light people up better. That started the Bahamas Pocking League. And so I said it as a joke on Facebook.
Not
sometime around August.
Yeah.
Well, then I kind of let it die. Like I didn't really think about it. But then I found out that one of my friends, Noel Nichols, is a part owner of the Bahamas Squash and Social Club.
Okay, all right.
And when I saw that, I said, I wonder if Noel would be interested in doing something like this that is a little bit outrageous, but parking is truly Bahamian.
Very much
and
so. Very much so.
It's major cardio.
Yes. Talk
Yeah.
about tennis and all those other sports, and listen, if you can't run, that's it. If you can't duck and dodge,
I don't think no other sport you really have a fear of someone trying to park you, right?
Listen, if you were scared to get parked, something wrong with you.
Yeah.
If everybody's scared. Everybody I know is scared to get parked.
Some of the guys that we play with, I mean, because we have a point system now, it isn't all about running away. Because you want to get the ball so that you could throw it and earn a point.
That's true.
And so that's the big difference that we have now. So some of the players that you play against, they know I'm going to 10 points. I already have 9. You only have 3. I could take this park and catch the ball and then light you up. And so they have to. So when you get into the strategy of parking now, because it isn't just, I don't want to get parked and I just run away as soon as the ball is in someone else's hand.
True.
And also, when you're on the squash court, there's no place to run.
No place to run. Yeah, it's because it's just like
it's a confined area.
That's correct.
But we also have field parking.
Okay, all right.
And so in field parking, we allow 8 steps per ball.
Okay.
And this is the trick. We play multi-ball sometimes.
What?
So you on
it
the
ain't
field
just one ball. You gotta watch
more than one ball going around. So if you got 2 balls in your hand, you can run up 8, throw one, and then run another 8 and throw the next one.
Wow.
And so all of this adds up to different strategy being developed and stuff like that.
Okay.
And you can bank. So
explain that
bank.
for me.
If you're playing team poking, then you could
throw it
to one of your partners.
What?
So it's so amazing to see the development.
How many teams are out there right now?
Right now, when we get out to the field and we play on Goodman's Bay Sundays around 2:00, when we get out to the field, that's when we make it's like a lot of scrimmage games.
Okay.
But I'm looking forward to having these days when we could have the national tournament.
Okay.
Can you imagine parking where you have like the Royal Bahamas Police Force versus the Defense Force?
Listen,
imagine SAC versus QC.
I would love to see
what? That would be crazy, right?
I would love to see that. I would love to see that would be amazing. So the point system. I want to try and understand the point system. So can someone get a point by catching the ball if they get parked, or
no? So
okay.
all the points in parking come from hitting someone with that ball.
Okay. All right.
We don't actively condone headshots.
No.
But it does come.
It happens. It does happen.
You can block from your elbow to your fingertips.
Okay.
So if you block it with your hand.
So if you have a successful block, does that person get a point or no?
No, they don't get any points.
All right.
But if you take any shots on your body,
they get a point.
Yeah, and we tend not to count shoes.
Okay.
So like if you just like kick the ball or something like that.
Okay. All right.
Shoes. But you can get a point off a ricochet. So if the ball hits the wall and it doesn't touch the ground first, but it hits the person, you get a point off. That's cool. That's actually how Shad won the tournament last year.
And then the bouncing off the wall in the person.
He catch me right in the back of my head, man. So that's one of those funny things.
Yeah.
With the point system, what we do is we have a time limit.
Okay.
And we have a point limit.
Okay.
So basically, it's if you make it to 10 points first, then you win.
Okay, all right.
If you make it to 10 minutes before anyone gets to 10 points,
then the person with
the highest points wins.
Makes sense.
And if you have a tie after 10 minutes, those two people that are tied, they go into sudden death.
Oh, meaning the first person get popped?
So everyone else leaves the court. They enter, and each of them has a ball.
Okay.
And
it's just a free for all.
Yeah. And sometimes you on the court and you have people with like a really high dodge percentage.
Okay.
So we got stats and thing, right?
Yeah,
so you're talking about like your dodge percentage. How many times does someone throw a ball at you and you dodge?
Okay.
You have a catch percentage. So some people, like Shad, that's one of his things. Like every time you throw a ball at him, this dude, he trying to catch that ball. He ain't trying to let it go past him. He ain't just trying to duck. He trying to catch that ball. So he not only you don't get a point, but now he has possession.
Yeah.
So it's so many different things.
Wow, that sounds good.
Yeah,
that sounds good.
And it's interesting that parking is something that every Bahamian knows.
Yeah, well, we grew up doing that.
Yeah.
If you don't play soccer in school, you won't have a good time, man. Between parking, marbles and
parking, marbles. You used to have like hopscotch and jump rope and
that's
things
true.
like that.
Yeah, man. You that was life before social media. You know.
Yeah.
You know.
And so it was also for me. It was a experiment in doing this kind of like creating a community.
Okay. All right.
On social media, and that's part of what made me team up with Noel as well.
Okay.
Because at Four Walls, they're not just talking about let's go and exercise and stuff like that. It's the Four Walls Squash and Social Club.
Okay.
So she's also talking about Bahamians getting together after work and enjoying themselves, but then getting into these fitness activities and stuff. So it was really
we need to get more fit because I hate to talk about the weight and thing, but it's a must that Bahamians start to get more fit and if they do more parking, I sure they'll lose a lot of weight. Huh?
Definitely. and a lot of times we think of parking as as a male sport or
Females can do it too. Yeah, my girls used to play that with us too.
Noelle actually, she came on the court a couple times. She got some skills. And she got a hand on her too. So
Okay.
So it's just a really fun opportunity, and just look for the BPL, the Bahamas Pocking League.
Yes.
Are
you on social media?
Yeah, so we have the Bahamas League on Twitter, and then Bahamas Pocking League on Facebook or Instagram.
Okay.
And so you could see some of the videos, you could see some of the little like Pocking related jokes and stuff.
Okay.
The Facebook community is bigger.
Yeah, okay.
There's like 200 people inside there already.
All right. I gotta check that out because I met you on Instagram.
Right.
So I gotta check out that Facebook league as well. So other than the Bahamas Pocking League, you have this cultural thing that you do as well. Environmental.
Yes. So for me, I run Science and Perspective.
Okay.
And Science and Perspective, I own the brand. So I'm the CEO and owner of Science and Perspective.
Okay.
And it comes from my philosophy that anyone can use more science.
Great.
But everyone needs more perspective.
That's true.
Because with the science, you can make things more efficient, right? Here they can use time management, and they can test how often do people need the space, how often are the space lying empty.
That's correct.
And you can science that out.
That's correct.
You can predict how much you can make with your business.
That's true.
The people who made the lights that you're using, the camera equipment, all of that is science.
Microphone.
Right, and you can make it better. But if you don't have the perspective, you cannot serve your clients as efficiently.
That's true.
So if someone just came in here and said, oh, we need to do office space from 8 to 5, and that's all they thought about, but they didn't take into the perspective, hey, this mother wants to be able to leave and get her kids at 3.
That's true.
There wouldn't be an area for us to have the kids in it, right?
That's true.
Or if you don't take into account that there mightn't be healthy options in the area. So you want people to have something that they can get food here instead of them leaving the space and coming back. These are perspective things.
That's correct.
And it's the same with science and the environment.
I like that. I like how you break that down.
Right. You have people who are making decisions like our oil drilling issue that we've had, right?
Yeah. What do you think about that?
These guys are coming into the Bahamas and they're talking about how much money they can make and stuff like that.
And forgetting about our reefs and our fishes and things would need these things.
Right. Yeah. And the perspective that they're coming from is, oh, we can make you $5 million.
Yeah, all they think about is money.
But they're not saying $5 million over 25 years.
That's true.
$5 million that doesn't start until after they start production wells.
Well,
so they can actually spill from the first time they poke a hole in the ground.
Wow.
Right? And so you carry that risk for 10 years until they start paying you.
Yeah.
And they only start paying you after that, maybe 10 years of development and stuff. Then they might start paying you about $500,000 a year.
Wow.
Where you have a multi-million-dollar tourism industry that actually is already productive.
That's true.
Consistently productive. And then you also have the value of our natural resources. So if you ignore the money that comes into the economy, but you just think about the value of healthy water. You have Bahamians eat land crabs.
That's good.
All the time, right?
All the time.
You know how much land crab on the back of Andres?
Man.
Imagine if they got caught in an oil spill.
That's true.
Imagine if your family does not get to eat land crab for 50 years. Because an oil spill, you can't clean that up.
No, it's
you
not.
You can't clean that up right away.
That's true.
Especially not on the backside of Andres.
It's amazing how we take certain things for granted. Just how you say this now, I can't imagine not seeing people selling a crab or crab walking on a boat, because you know, seeing crab on the road is like a normal thing, but seeing no crab at all because of such a thing as an oil spill and killing them all, that's
And this is the perspective that we need, because you have an industry or company that has hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars, and they are promoting things online and saying, oh, we're going to bring this money in. But you don't have the opportunity to listen to a fisherman, because this fisherman, he has to go out and work in the ocean every day, right?
He ain't got time to be.
He doesn't have time to do the marketing and social media and stuff like that.
True.
So we have to go and actively engage with them. You have, there's always some other issue that you need to talk to the people that are here before you bring in an environmental consultant from the outside.
I agree.
Or even if you take a consultant from New Providence and take them to Andros, on Andros, when they get there, they don't have the idea or the understanding that you have to go to Miss Mary up in Fresh Creek for you to get food at a certain time, because everything else closed.
That's true.
Right?
That's
so
true.
you run in logistics or something like that, you have to take all of this into account.
Yes.
And Miss Mary, when you take that consultant there and they interact with Miss Mary is going to be able to tell you how much her kids rely on those crabs, right?
Yes, that's
crabs
true.
Crabs for computers in Andros. Put computers in classrooms.
Crabs pay
all their
school fees.
Yeah.
Man. It's amazing how people, like, different perspectives. You will never know how things affect certain people.
Right.
You know? But when it comes to the environment, and Jessica, you talking about Andros, the aragonite. Man, don't you think at the time they should have increased that price? You know, because I heard that they said it for like cents or pennies.
It is sold for pennies, and there's so much to that conversation.
Yes, I know, because everything is made from aragonite, almost like
A lot of things are made from aragonite. But one of the issues that I always have with this discussion is the conversation is we're selling it and we're not getting enough from it. But the thing is, when you sell it, you could only have it. You could only make an offer that once.
That's true.
When you're talking about them wanting to go mining in the middle of an island, dredging it out, you cut down all those trees. Those birds don't have any place to live. The land crab doesn't have any place to forage. The iguanas, all of this that could be nature tourism forever. Now you're digging that out and you're selling that. Once you sell your land,
you can't get that back.
You can't get that back.
Yeah, you can't get that back.
And you can look at the satellite images throughout the Bahamas, and just about every island in the Bahamas has some of these big holes in the land that have been dredged out.
Wow.
And those are just permanent holes. They fill with water, or they might have salt water or brackish water inside it.
Wow.
But that's permanent. And then you also think, for them to break that rock up, they have to put in chemicals or dynamite or whatever like
That's
that.
true, that's true.
And you putting those things inside our water, our groundwater table.
That's true.
And this is a perspective thing where someone draws a map and they put this square on the map and say, oh, that's my property. And I want the ability to do this in my property. But they're not thinking that
what they do in their property could affect others.
Everyone.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
That's true.
And so when you talk about perspective, I want people in the Bahamas to have an understanding that what we do on our island here
It's affecting
affects the whole country.
Yeah, that's true. That's
What a company comes and asks to do, that's not just affecting them.
Yeah.
It's not just affecting the government budget lines.
country.
Yeah, it's affecting the country.
Yeah.
And so right now, we want our government officials to say something. I want to hear every government official who's representing Andros, Berry Islands, Grand Bahama. Those are all mentioned inside the BPC, environmental impact assessment,
Okay.
that if there's an oil spill, they will all be affected.
Wow. They'll be the first to be affected. Like
That's where the oil is first going to hit them physically.
Okay.
But the entire Bahamas, Cuba, Dominican Republic, and Florida
Wow.
will be
Yeah.
affected as well,
Wow.
because of all of the other collateral impacts.
Okay.
Because if you have an oil spill in the Bahamas, how many tourists do you think know that we have 16 major islands, or that we have 700 islands?
They don't know.
They don't know. They don't know that.
All they only hear about is Nassau.
But when they
and
hear
then when
there's an oil spill in the Bahamas,
Yeah.
it's not just going to affect us either.
No, it's gonna-
Because Jamaica, people
Right,
mix
yeah.
up the Bahamas and Jamaica all the time.
That's true. That's
right?
true. So they'll think all of it is a part of each other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Florida cruise ship industry.
Mm-hmm.
Where would those? How far would the cruise ship have to drive to get around an oil spill? We want to think about that, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And
That's
so,
true.
so South Florida ministers or governors and stuff like that, they have already voiced their
Yeah.
opinion
Okay.
against oil exploration in the
I heard about
Bahamas.
that, you know.
Yeah.
I heard about that, yeah. But I never knew what ever came out of it. I mean, I know it never progressed. It never. I don't know.
we
They
the
still fighting
Bahamas
it?
allowed them to drill.
They still drilling?
Well,
Oh.
they have stopped drilling for
Oh,
now.
okay.
But they are still interested in
In
drilling
drilling.
again.
Wow.
Minister Ferrero recently said that there will be no more drilling permission
Okay.
until they pay their leases, which is problematic because
Yeah.
if you have a company that's not paying their leases,
That's
how can you even imagine that they would be able to pay for an oil spill?
That's true. Now guess what? That's up
Yeah.
for discussion.
Right.
That's up for discussion because if they can't even pay their lease, if an oil spill comes about, how would they cover that? Is correct.
Right.
And that's disturbing. That's very disturbing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hope it disturbs a lot of your
Yeah.
viewers,
Yes,
and that they could then turn that around and ask their
them.
ministers directly.
About
make
these
sure
things.
that make
Yes.
sure that and I don't care what party you are in. This is something that you need to speak on
this
now.
is a country. This is a Bahamas thing.
Yeah.
When it comes to things that affect the environment, I don't look at colors. I don't look at red, blue, green. I don't care what you are. But whoever becomes in power, this would affect them. You know, just like when the pandemic came about, it didn't matter who was in charge. Whatever prime minister was in charge was going to face the same problem that Minister is facing right now. You know, so
Exactly.
it didn't matter. And I hope that people would learn and know how they could make changes that doesn't have to do with the government, but has to do with how you treat your island and your country. You know, and I thank you very much. But tell me something. What make you decide to become a what is this, a conservationist or?
Yeah. So I'm mostly a science educator and capacity builder.
Okay.
But I do feel that I am also, I'm definitely a trained ecologist
Okay,
and scientist.
How long have you been in the field?
I've been, from I was like 5.
Wow.
I used to be running around inside the botanical gardens
You
waiting for my
serious?
mom,
Yeah.
right? And when guests come, I would tell them about trees and stuff like that.
From that young?
From that young.
Wow.
That's where I got that passion and my
Okay.
mom, and so shout out to Mommy.
Mrs. Davis, you raised your son very well.
So she used to teach me the plants when she was doing the Bahama Host program.
Okay.
And so our country has always had this pride about our natural environment.
Okay.
And the Bahama Host program, my mom would teach the taxi drivers and stuff how to identify, bougainvillea, hibiscus, poinciana,
Okay.
and what are these plants used for in some bush medicine applications, or where they're from and things like that.
Okay.
And I took it a little further. I want to know more about not just the plants, but the birds and the lizards and spiders and
That's full-blown agriculture.
stuff.
Yeah.
yeah, and not just agriculture, because some of these organisms, they're not something that you want to catch and eat or anything.
No.
But you have like a sea cucumber.
Yeah.
A sea cucumber cleans the sand. All this
That's-
white sand that
that's
you see
true.
out here.
The sea cucumber cleans them.
If you harvest all the sea cucumbers and sea urchins and the sea biscuits, our sand turns brown in like a
Wow.
couple weeks.
That's the reason why we have clear blue waters like how we do now.
Yes,
Yeah.
because of these little
Yeah.
organisms. And so you might have people from another country
That just
that
harvesting
like
these
to
things.
harvest
Yeah,
those.
that's
And they
true.
come and they want to pay us, say, hey, Bahamas, give us a fishing permit and we'll pay you 50 cents for each of these. And a Bahamian fisherman who knows he could find a couple hundred of them, they go and capture them and they make that little bit of money. But then
The
you
long-term
look
effect.
and our
Yeah.
environment is destroyed.
Yeah, that's true.
And with unsustainable fishing practices, you could change the country like that.
Even simple as the harvesting of the conch. Like, you know, that's the reason why we have these seasonal things now, because people over conch, overfish, you know, and I mean, even though it's for they have to feed their families and stuff, is what are you doing by feeding your family now if you don't have nothing to get, you know, to be able to feed them
Right.
tomorrow? So
And so
what do you think about that?
there's a few different issues that come into play with that.
Okay.
Firstly, with conch takes about 4 years to mature.
Wow.
So what that means is, if we destroyed the conch fishery this year, we won't know
Was until the next half.
until 4 years
from now. Yeah.
So the conch that are babies that are growing up now,
yeah.
we're still going to be attacking them next year and the year after that.
Yeah.
But then after that next year, that fourth year, the ones that we killed out this year, they didn't get the chance to have babies.
That's true.
Right?
That's true. That's
So
true. Yeah.
so in 4 years, you're gonna go out with your boat and you kill all those
that-
conch
yeah.
this year and next year, and you're like, yeah, I'm making more so I can have a bigger boat, so I can have more engines on my boat, a bigger cooler. But then in 4 years, there's no more conch.
No more conch. Yeah. That's-
So
wow.
you just totally like cut off your
You
feet
de-
and the legs,
You
right?
decimate the whole
Right.
conch industry.
And there's a difference between extinct and economically extinct. So extinct means you cannot find it in the wild.
And economically means that affecting the
money.
money. Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
economically extinct means you could find conch, but the amount that you find
Isn't
isn't
enough to
enough for you to keep your business going.
That's true. That's true. That's
And
true.
so if you have to drive from New Providence all the way around the back of Andros
Just to
for
get
you to
this-
get 5
yeah.
conch.
Wow. That
You
it doesn't
can't
add up because the gas
Exactly.
and yeah.
And you have your crew on the boat you have
That's
to
true.
pay for,
That's true.
your business license,
That's
your
true.
boating license,
Wow.
all the fuel and maintenance for your boat. So
sense.
so we can't continue like this anymore.
Yeah. So you have any advice for how we could go about in saving our environment?
There's the main thing that I encourage people to do that makes the world better almost 100% of the time
What's that?
is to think.
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 Okay.
A lot of us, we go and do the same thing that our grandparents did, that our parents did,
That's true.
that we're told in school, that we see our friends doing, and we don't stop and say, why are we doing this?
That's true.
Do I need to do this?
True.
If everyone did the same thing I do, what do I think would happen to my country? Actually, coming here just now, I saw 2 young men walking on the side of the road. And he just nonchalantly took the plastic lid off of his cup
And threw it.
it right on the side of the road.
Listen.
And I roll down my window and I say, hey,
Yeah.
this is your Bahamas too.
Yeah.
That is not gonna go away. That piece of plastic,
Stay right there.
just stay right there. And he turned around and picked it up. So that made me happy. And it was like something where his friend looked at him when he threw it,
Yeah.
but his friend didn't say anything.
Okay. But his
And then
friend
when I
kind of
said-
knew it was wrong.
Right, because
Yeah.
his friend still had his lid, and
Wow.
and then when I called him out on it,
Yeah.
his friend was like yeah, boy.
Yeah.
And he went and he picked it up.
Wow.
And I thanked him before I came over here, but
it's simple things that will
Right.
make a big difference. You know, you have an hard to believe, but it's simple things that will make a big difference.
yeah, and I hope he actually gets to see this video.
Oh,
I hope his
man,
friend
listen.
sees it and say, hey, that's the same guy who told you not to.
Hey,
throw
it's
the-"
good that you pick up that plastic, man.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah. So yeah, if y'all see this, if y'all know the young man, they can reach out to me. I have something for them.
Ah,
all right. I
perfect,
didn't get
perfect.
to stop because I was coming here, but I got something for them. Yeah,
Yes.
but yeah, it's definitely something that I feel we don't think enough about our impact and the changes that we can make to make the Bahamas and just our lives better, more sustainable, and thinking about the future. I want my kids to be able to see a healthy coral reef. I want my kids to be able to, go on an adventure and see pine forests and abaco parrots and our Bahamian hummingbirds and stuff like that.
Guess what?
Yeah.
I saw a hummingbird the other day. I couldn't tell the last time I saw a hummingbird. And then like a dragonfly. Simple things like dragonflies, hummingbirds. I couldn't tell you the last. I haven't seen them in years. And now that I saw one, it made my heart feel kind of good to know that they're still around, because I thought they were all gone or only in certain areas. Because my goodness, you hardly ever see them anymore.
Yeah, it is sad, and there's a lot of policies that we're using in the country that is making it hard for organisms like that
To survive.
Right. For example, we spray for mosquitoes. That is not
Guess what?
really very sustainable.
I always had in the back of my head that couldn't be healthy stuff. I knew it. I knew it all along. So what does that affect?
So there's a lot of different things. Most of these sprays that they use, they also have detrimental effects for humans. They're poisons. A lot of them have neurotoxins in them.
Wow.
You had DDT was a big issue in the past, and in the States and around the world, they have regulations now. You can't actually use it in those areas, but they can export it to other areas.
Like how you use it,
Right.
on
You have malathion they use here in the Bahamas to spray for mosquitoes, and that can give you respiratory issues. Your baby is sleeping under the window and you don't know. They come in to spray tonight, so your baby breathing all of that in, and you could have long-term health effects from that. I've heard that they've changed from malathion in recent years.
What they use to what?
I'm not sure what they're
okay.
using now, but at any rate, this is an issue where when you spray in that for mosquitoes, you then have a honey farmer who his bees are all getting killed.
Wow.
From the same toxin.
Spray. Wow.
Or you have your dragonflies. They're getting killed.
Yeah.
Or you have farmers who no longer have any insects pollinating their fruit.
Because of all
So now you don't have your mangoes and dilly and soursop that you expected to have this year.
That's true.
And at the same time, you have a lot of pest species like mealybugs or scale that they don't get killed by these sprays. But the insects, they have predator insects that go and kill them. When last you seen a ladybug?
Guess what?
Ladybugs kill a lot of other pest insects.
You serious?
But if you spray in and stuff, the ladybugs are dying
Hold
out.
on. What ladybugs kill?
Ladybugs vicious.
You serious?
Yes.
No, man.
Yes.
Ladybugs?
And see, this is one of those perspective things as well, right?
I never knew that.
So ladybugs are vicious.
Wow.
And these are things that if you wanted to come out with me, you and your guests can also connect with me on Science and Perspective.
I'm going to take you up on that.
Join me in the field, and I'm really working to get more people out into the environment. I came from the Bahamas National Trust, Bonefish Ponds National Park today, and we were planting some mangroves with the British High Commissioner. And things like this, getting people out into the environment. You come out there and you will learn so much in that 30 minutes.
Love to see that.
I encourage every Bahamian to become a member of the Bahamas National Trust. When you become a member, you could go in any of the parks for free,
You serious?
Yeah.
Listen, hey, join the Bahamas National Trust so that you guys could go and visit some of the parks and meet Mr. Davis out there and, you know, see what's going on in the environment, and you'll enjoy it.
And when you go out there, occasionally I actually give free tours inside the parks as well.
Okay.
I'm not an employee of the Bahamas National Trust, but it's something that I really believe in, you know? And they have parks throughout the country.
Yeah,
so there's like there's 30-something parks in the Bahamas now.
We have that much parks?
See, and you didn't. Why don't we know this?
Where are all these boxes?
Right? We need this to be part of our Bahamian curriculum.
For real.
Right?
Yeah.
If you're in a school on New Providence, before you graduate, you
should
need to visit
parks.
these national parks.
I don't even. I hope I'm not doing my school injustice, but parks wasn't something that we really talked about in school at all.
Right.
At all. We know about what the Fort Charlotte.
Yeah.
We talking things of history, like, but my
But even for
goodness.
history, the Bahamas National Trust, the Exuma Keys Land and Sea Park is the first national park that's marine and terrestrial in the world.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
And
The Exuma
the Exuma Keys Land and Sea Park.
The Exuma Keys Land and Sea Park. I gotta check it out.
And we have these historical things. The Bahamas started the Caribbean Challenge, where we challenged all the Caribbean nations to protect 20% of their nearshore marine and terrestrial habitat by 2020.
Wow.
And the Bahamas has made leaps and bounds towards that goal by all the protections that we have. The west side of Andros National Park is one of the biggest national parks in the region.
Wow.
Millions of acres. And
Wow.
we're putting that at risk. And it's partly because
That's
Bahamians, the Bahamians that you see on the street, in the mall, that you play parking with, a lot of them don't know that we have these national parks.
No, none of them.
We need to get that out there.
Because hopefully my viewers will, after looking at this, they will.
So I think there's a lot of opportunity for Bahamians to engage with the science of national parks, learn about all the biodiversity that you have there, the water quality, what that means, fisheries, stuff like that. But then also to gain this perspective where we're not just blindly loyal to the Bahamas, and we're not just talking about sun, sand, and sea, but we have a connection. And we can come back and say, oh, you meet a tourist and they're like, oh, where's this nearest hotel or casino? And you're gonna tell them, you in the Bahamas, you'll have casinos everywhere. You need to see our Bahama Woodstar hummingbird. You need to see our iguanas, our national parks.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
You need to understand our culture, the Junkanoo Museum, the National Art Gallery, things like that that make us unique and really bring that perspective in. And that's what I'm working to do. So I hope to see more of your viewers join me.
Thank you, Mr. Davis, for allowing me to interview you and talk about the BPL, Bahamas Pocking League, and the science and perspective. I'm going to take you up on an offer and come with you in the field. And so we can see the environment and how we can learn more about getting things, into perspective and how to make Bahamas a better place.
Definitely.
Yes.
So
thank you once again.
We'll definitely connect on that, and definitely your audience can join me on Science and Perspective, at Sci Perspective on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and look for me on YouTube, Science and Perspective with Dr. Ancilleno Davis.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes.